Good evening friends. So today we will start with our lecture 2 of ethics, integrity and aptitude. This lecture 2 will be primarily focused on the techniques and principles required to score 140 plus in ethics paper, as popularly called ethics paper, but I have told you to call it EIA, ethics, integrity and aptitude, because your ethics, the ethical principles, how the ethical principles are defined, the code of conduct which guides you to choose between right and wrong. They alone are not being checked, but what is being checked is your integrity. And in the integrity, as I told you, your moral and intellectual integrity is checked. Your moral integrity and your intellectual integrity. That is the moral principles which you sermonize in public, which you tell others to follow, whether you are following yourself or not. The intellectual integrity, that is your knowledge is not only shallow, but your knowledge is about practicing. What you know, you practice. You basically do this. Walk the talk. And let me tell you one thing, whosoever, whatsoever suggests, but this walk the talk is of very high importance when you are supposed to score well in your ethics paper, ethics, integrity, aptitude paper, your essay also to a large extent, and your interview, generally called interview, but it is personality test. Your personality is checked, but in that personality test also, again, the way you walk the talk, that is whether you are able to do what you say you are doing, you have that integrity or not, is checked basically in your third stage, in the stage of personality test as well. So if you are genuinely passionate about the service, passionate about the integrity principle, you do what you say and you say what you do, then the chances of scoring becomes high if you are able to articulate these things in your paper as well. So as we were talking, we'll start with our techniques and principles. There are certain principles which you need to follow, and the techniques which you need to follow if you are supposed to score well. Now this could have been the part of your test series session, but before starting your preparation of UPSC, before reading the material of ethics, or for that matter any discipline, as I have oriented you towards psychology also, that you have to organize the matter in form of 4 top priorities: the concept, application, merits and demerits. Likewise, the principle and techniques, if we understand in the beginning itself, we will be able to orient our study towards high score. Because mind it that ethics paper can be a paper which will make you a champion, or it will take away everything from you. Either it is 140 or it will be 80. Average scores are also there, but there is a potential of scoring 140 plus, which we will explore how. Moreover, if we see these two papers, essay and ethics, does essay have any syllabus? The answer is no. Ethics has syllabus? The answer is yes. Essay has any set pattern? Set pattern? No. Ethics has any set pattern? No. Because ethics paper has a syllabus but it does not have any set pattern, because of which the framework and the technique required cannot be summarized even by the toppers. Although what happens, see, the topper of this year is not the same as was the topper of last year and won't be the same as will be the topper of next year, because this exam is changing colors, it is dicey. Every year the paper's nature is different. Some year there will be too tough paper in optional, other years easy paper, some years there will be analytical paper, other years some factual paper. So to zoom down to certain techniques becomes very difficult even for your rank holders. But having an experience in the teaching and understanding the nuances by evaluating the papers and training students, that gives me a leverage that I have the ability to zoom down to certain factors. If we know these factors and prepare our material according to these factors, according to these techniques and principles, then our study will be smart and we'll easily be skimming through to get this score. There is no need to, see, hard work is very important, but there is no need to slog on the things which are not required. For example, if you look at the category of toppers who are there in LBS where training is going on, you will realize that there are certain people who are very smart. They have not worked very hard, they have definitely worked hard, but their direction of preparation was so good that they were able to get not only optimum but maximum output. This is what we are trying to do here as well. Okay, so before we zoom into the principles and techniques, a brief summary of what we did in the last class, which is very important. You should also, whenever you study the next chapter, before that have a brief summary of what was done earlier, because the study here in the UPSC examination is cascading of cascading nature, that is, you are following a stepping stone, like from this step to another step, jumping, but this foundation is part of your next step as well, and this foundation, if it is built in the right manner, it will help you. As some of you, rather most of you, are part of psychology as well, you know there is something called program learning. Now in program learning what happens, the whole task, the big task, and UPSC syllabus is really vast. The vast syllabus is divided into small chapters. After doing one chapter, you will go to second chapter only if you have command over first chapter. So you should definitely do that summarization, briefly summarizing what you have done earlier, and this should be the habit of your study pattern as well. Whenever you are studying, it is very important that you study 10 hours in the day, 8 hours, 10 hours. Now it's like you had Chinese food, sumptuous Chinese food, or any food, any Rajasthani thali, Gujarati thali, any this kind of food we have. Indian food is full of your nutrition as well as carbs, so it is heavy on the belly. Now to digest it, don't you need time? You need time. You need to take rest, sleep, then exercise also to burn the calorie. The same is the principle for your study as well. The same is the principle for your study. You are studying for 10 hours. 8 to 10 hours you have studied. 10 hours of study. Most of the students, they tell me, sir, I studied 8 hours. I just ask these students, you studied 8 hours, 10 hours. How much have you devoted to digest this? 4 hours is needed. 4 hours needed to digest this. And in these 4 hours, what you are doing? You are revising it. It's not that you are, after studying 10 hours, you go to sleep for another 10 hours. 10 hours of study, 10 hours of sleep. Then you will never succeed. 10 hours study, 10 hours sleep, this will continue. There are only 24 hours, 10 hours you are studying, 10 hours you are sleeping. In the rest 4 hours you will do other work. What you need to do is, please understand, you should devote 12 hours in the day. Out of that, 8 hours of the study, and then 2 plus 2. 8 plus 2 plus 2. What is this 8 plus 2 plus 2? In those 8 hours, you will be studying two disciplines. Suppose you are studying psychology and ethics, or you are optional and ethics. Devoting 4 hours and 4 hours here. After doing this and several other work also you are doing, in the next 2 hours, you will be revising your psychology and ethics, or optional and ethics. So these 2 hours are also important. Another 2 hours for the different kind of study you are doing. Newspaper you must do, you must read newspaper. We will see the essence of newspaper reading for ethics case studies as well. Ethics case study and essay both require you to have good reading skills and diversified reading. Diversified reading, when I say, it does not mean that you are studying only geography, economy, history, polity and all this. Apart from these, whether you are studying some things which are not part of your syllabus, not the part of your syllabus, that will define your writing skill, that will define your marks in ethics and essay both. And I for sure can say the paper 2 of your optional, especially if you have an optional like psychology or sociology, philosophy, everywhere, in fact, if we leave aside the science oriented optionals, then in all the optionals, humanities based optionals, the paper 2, there is requirement of diversified study. That's why people who belong to humanities and having good language skills have more probability of entering into civil services, because they do well on these departments, ethics, essay and their paper 2, and that's why they sail through. So briefly summarizing, read for study, not read, in fact 8-10 hours of intense study. Intense. If you are not doing anything other than your preparation, then you are doing a great sin. If you are not studying for 8-10 hours, you are doing a great sin. You should leave this preparation. You should leave the preparation and do something better, because your energy is not being utilized in the right manner. If you are doing a job, I have seen people who do a job 4-6 hours of study and they crack the exam, because their study is sincere, honest, full of integrity, and they respect everything. Positive approach, proactive approach, positive approach. If the teacher is doing something creative, teacher is putting in lots of hard work. See, one thing you have to understand, that civil services preparation is not only about your hard work. The teacher has to do the hard work, equal hard work, and unless the teacher does something hard working and creative, you are not going to pass. As simple as that. And if you pass, it is because of your rigorous preparation. What I want is you should do smart study and pass the exam with flying colors, with the hard work which you have done, definitely giving the whole attributing your success to yourself only. Yes, your hard work, but teacher is doing the equal hard work. You should respect the positive approach of the teacher if he or she is doing something creative. Like, for example, just giving you an example, I gave you a question on ethics. Only few people have written the answer. Now it was supposed to be discussed, but today I will not discuss. Unless you give me the answer, I am not. Unless each and everyone is sending me the answer, I am not going to discuss that. And why are we discussing the answer before even giving you the material? Because I want to see what is your understanding, the benchmark level where you are, so that I can elevate it to the topper level. So If I am doing something, you should cooperate with me. So please send your answers. Okay. So brief summary. What we studied earlier, we saw why are we studying the ethics, integrity and aptitude paper. Basically, this was the focus of the study. Firstly, that it is ethics, integrity and aptitude. What is ethics? The conduct, code of conduct which provides you, it tells you that what is good and what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. You can differentiate based on certain principles which are universal in nature, and that is called ethics. Integrity, how regularly you follow these principles is your integrity, generally judged by moral integrity and intellectual integrity. Then aptitude, your ability to learn things naturally, the natural skill to learn something. This is how we summarize this paper. Then why did we bring the study of ethics, integrity and aptitude in civil services? Two things which I have told you. One thing was requirement, because as we saw, the bureaucracy, the conceptualization of bureaucracy was such that it is supposed to do only legally valid things, rational things. If you are legally correct, rationally correct, then nobody can stop you as a bureaucrat. Then you are doing a wonderful job. But with the change in the society, especially in the developing country like India, it is important that not only your legal and rational but moral, legal, rational and moral abilities or ethical abilities are also at test. For example, I'll give you an example. Have you heard the name of this man? Armstrong Palmer. He became the DC, district magistrate, Armstrong Palmer, in one of the backward districts of Northeast. What he saw there was no road from the village to the hospital. Since there was no road to connect the village to the hospital, many people died. Many people died while they were traveling. Whenever somebody was very unwell, seriously unwell, while they were being carried, during the passage only most of the people died. There was no road. Now Armstrong Palmer or Armstrong Payne, as you can pronounce it, did not bother to ask the government, did not bother to ask the NGOs, prominent NGOs, did not bother to ask funding from the business community or anywhere else. What he did? He used his own savings, personal savings and savings of his brother's savings. See how conscience of this person is pushing him, conscience. Not only the ethical principles, universal ethics he is following, but apart from that his own personal ethics, the conscience is guiding him to take such a step. It was none of his duty to build a road there. He could have taken help from the government, he could have taken help from the NGOs, the business community, but he used his own savings, along with the fact that he was not only ethical, he was smart as well. He made a group on the Facebook and people openly donated money. This money was used to construct the road. Within a month, the road was constructed. Within such short span of time, the work was done. What happened here? Not only the legal, rational, but legally defined, it was none of his job. Rationally, of course not. Too much of resource wasted from his own personal savings. Morally, yes, correct. So moral principles are required in countries like India where there is resource crunch and there is no balance of development. There are certain states, there are certain districts which are extremely backward, and since they are extremely backward, people who are in the leadership positions, who are at the leadership rung, who are in the leadership position, these people, and if you look at the bureaucrats, the civil servants, they are on the top notch of the society. So you have to play the leadership role. Told by whom? Told by Nolan committee. Nolan committee said what? Ash Lu. In that L was what? Leadership. This is how you are supposed to play the role of a leader, especially in a developing country. So not only legal rational but moral also. This was one factor. Another factor, as growing incidents of corruption propelled and justifying the means just to reach the end became the nature of each and everyone. Still it is. Even the youth, even the bureaucrats, they started following that whatever the means are, the end should be met. I should be promoted. That's it. So, as corruption was increasing, the ARC, Administrative Reforms Commission, especially the ARC2, they gave a report for ethics in governance. Now, when you are writing the answer, there is no need to go into the details of this, that ethics in governance is the name of the report, the fourth report given by ARC2, it was headed by, because these are unnecessary details. You will have to filter the unnecessary details from the necessary and important conceptual aspects. This is very, very important. As I check the scripts of the students and I interact with them, I realize that most of you are focused on this facts and memorizing each and every facts. Rather than that, what you should do, understand the concepts. If you are supposed to pass the examination in this pattern, the pattern which changed in 2013, not 33, will be too far. By that time, many of you will be in a very good position, joint secretary level. So 2013, what happened? Civil services pattern changed. It was not just a pattern change. The focus, more of the focus were on concept. 10 markers, small questions from the whole syllabus. Inclusion of ethics paper, which was not done earlier. Complete exploration of the GS paper, which was not done earlier. So, because of these things, it is becoming very important that you filter unnecessary details. While teaching, it is important to tell you the details so that you have the context, but as a student you should always focus on concept. That too, you should focus mostly on the understanding part. So ethics in governance, what does it say? Ethics in governance said that the principles of public service, the values of the public service, what values a public servant should carry, that should be codified. Codification, there should be complete codification. As I told you, example, riots happened in Nuh. Since the riots happened in Nuh district of Haryana, the responsibility should lie to the DM and SP, and they should be immediately suspended from the service till the time the complete report comes. What is happening now? The only transfer thing takes place. They are only being transferred. That too when media creates lots of uproar, or the opposition creates uproar in the parliament or legislative assembly of the state, then it is happening. Otherwise government is not very concerned about these things. So codification will happen if there is a set standard, as we say SOP. What is SOP? Standard operating procedure. If you have the standard operating procedure, will it become easier or not? Yes, it will become easier. That's what the ethics in governance report also says, that every public servant should work for what? Public interest. And to work for public interest, it is important that the public service values get codified. One thing. Then second thing, the conflict of interest should be completely defined, that in these activities there will be conflict of interest and you should not do this. That should be completely defined. As you must have seen an example recently, an IAS Abhishek Singh, who was an observer in election duty in Gujarat, he took a photograph with his car, in front of it a selfie, just to showcase that yes, I am doing this duty. People say that he is camera savvy, media savvy, camera savvy, many people. I'll tell you one thing, as a civil servant who really wants to be successful in bureaucracy, you should never be happy when you are in front of camera. You should avoid camera. Do your work behind the curtain. Whether you believe it or not, those whosoever done this, whosoever have become camera savvy, they have been really brutalized, victimized and given punishment like anything. Avoid camera. Avoid being appreciated a lot. If you are being appreciated a lot, again the problem. What? Example, Divya Mittal, serving IAS officer, again 2013 batch only. She in her district ensured that the tap water reached each and every house. But what is happening with Divya Mittal? Again, on the media platforms, on her Facebook page, everywhere, people are appreciating her. People only were appreciating her. Sometimes people do their own PR also. Yes. Their own PR. People, there is a person, district magistrate somewhere in the Uttarakhand, Rawat, some Rawatis. Wherever he is traveling, doing some work, the camera is there. And his work is being put on YouTube channel, social media, everywhere. Another lady was there, D. Chandrakala or B. Chandrakala. IAS in UP. Wherever she was doing a good work, on camera it was showing as it was a good work. What happened? When the Modi government came, she was brought to center. Later on, vigilance team realized that she actually was involved in a huge amount of corruption. What is happening here is, if you have to live a healthy bureaucratic life, be neutral in your approach, be anonymous in your approach. Neutral, not taking sides of any of the political party or any of the business houses, because you never know. Things may change overnight. This is democracy. In democracy, overnight the parties will change. The party which is at the power now will change. Another party will come. Then if you have a leaning towards this party, you will be given a shunting posting. So you should be neutral. Shunting posting where your career will not grow. Anonymity. You should not take accolades. You should not take appreciation for the work. Rather, a smart bureaucrat will do what? He or she will say that this was the work of a minister. But this was brainchild of a minister. Brainchild of a minister. Now minister is happy because they have to do that political work. You are also happy. You are happy because the work is being done, and you are working where? You are working in the public interest. You are a smart bureaucrat here. Smart bureaucrat is working in public interest, but showing the work is being done by the politician. The politician is happy, public is happy, you are also happy, because you genuinely believe in public interest. You are anonymous, you don't want any media footage. Things have changed now. People, just after entering the training phase itself, there only they have started posting it on Instagram. One pic in front of the Bargat ka ped, just while entering the Labasna. One pic inside the near the fountain. Now these activities, they are not bad. I mean, everybody has liberty to live life fully and happily, but these things are training you towards something which will be punished later on. So avoid being like that. If you be a cold-blooded civil servant, neutral, anonymous, objective. Okay, so since you are supposed to work in public interest, the conflict of interest should be defined. And what does ARC says? Ethics in Governance report, that your duty is towards the constitution. Constitutional principles should be upheld. And as I told, you have to be anonymous, objective, neutral. You should work for GG, that is called good governance. And as we defined good governance with this acronym SMART, simple, moral, accountable. From R, rational and responsive both can be taken. You may write responsive or rational. T for target oriented. T, target oriented. No, these are not fixed acronyms. You may change. That's why I tell you that there is no point rectifying things. You just get the essence of it. Smart governance. Public servant should work for these things. They give the principle for ethical principles of ethical code of conduct for judges, for legislative members, for everyone it is given. But what you have to focus upon is the principles which are required for your ethical, efficient, effective civil services. That is already provided. Few things also I told you which are important, that in a civil servant what is checked is your managerial capability plus your legal rational, and you can add legal rational, moral. Your ability to manage your organization and do it in a legal manner, constitutional manner, rational manner, and then following the set of principles that defines the duties of a civil servant. Now this was a brief summary of your chapters which we have, the chapter 1, lecture 1 which we have already done. But from there only many things you have been able to learn. British Nolan Committee gives you the civil service rules or values which a civil servant should have, as law. Then your ethics in governance report says certain things which we have already seen. From there also you can use, if it is used smartly, from there also you can attempt questions. As we build further, we will see things in details. Now we will come to our lecture 2. You see, as told earlier, the syllabus of ethics is defined, but there are no set parameters which are supposed to be followed to score well. It keeps on changing. Essay, no syllabus, no set parameters, further becomes dicey. But still for that also we have techniques. For ethics, there are two aspects: ethics, integrity, aptitude. There are two aspects, as you know. One is your theory part, another is your case study part. In the theory part, what you are supposed to do is explain and exemplify. Explain and exemplify certain things. What are the certain things? Suppose you are asked about ethics only, generic question of ethics. What are ethics? Or let's take your topic itself. Topic mentioned in the syllabus: ethics and human interface. This is the topic. Most of the questions which will be asked in the theory will be like, explain this and give example. There may be different wordings, in different manner it may be asked, but generally you are supposed to do these two things only. Now what comes in the explanation? As our topic was ethics and human interface. Explain what is ethics. Code of conduct which defines what is right or wrong and its interface with the humans. For human being it is very important. In each of your acts, since the time you get up, you start taking decision. What is right, what is wrong. After getting up, what you do? Some people open their eyes and on mobile screen, using eyes for the screen, drinking coffee or tea on the bed itself. Nothing is bad. I'm not criticizing anything. This is the generic nature. So there also you decide what is wrong, what is right. You are taking decision at each and every step. If somebody is at the door, whether to answer or not, there are certain calls or messages on your mobile and laptop and tab. You will see which one to attend, or you are making a decision. On basis of what you will make the decision? The ethical principles, that is the code of conduct defined, especially in the lives of civil servants. What happened recently? Now these examples, as I have told you, are very important to explain the concept and for you to cite certain example from your own. Recently a constable in the police who was harassed by the top officers called the IG, Inspector General of Police, who commands lot many battalions or lot many police thanas. This constable called in the morning. Now IG had just gotten up. He started abusing this constable. On the phone, recording is available. Abusing straight away this constable. Now the thing is it ethical? The answer is no. As a leader, you are in the civil services, you are a top ranking IPS officer. What should be your conduct? Your conduct should be to empathize with the team member, to listen to the person. Listen. How? Empathetically. Now this is a very important characteristics. Many people say, I'll just add it theory of karma from my own side. Many people say this, something wrong happened in my life, this happened. Some others say, like me, I always say that whenever I feel like I am sinking, suddenly some help from unknown sources come. You know, nothing is there. This is the theory of karma and I am a firm believer of this. Firm believer of karma. Good karma will always come back to you. Bad karma will always come back to you. This person should have heard the constable empathetically. Rather than that, he started abusing him. This constable's moral will go down. Your public image also suffers. You being at the hem of the civil services, you should be so relaxed that even if somebody is criticizing you, your answer is not in that tone. Somebody from media is asking a provoking question. Politicians react. What should be your approach? Your approach should be remain calm. Because this question will not get registered in the history, but your answer will definitely get registered in the history. The answer of this IG, the whole police department was criticized because of the conduct of the IG. You should set examples for yourself and others. You are at the leadership hem. That's why British Northern Committee says that the civil servants should be leaders, conscience keepers. Okay, so ethics, code of conduct and human interface. With human, definitely has an interface. Since the morning, IG making the decision, wrong decision being made. Now you leave for the office. In your office, that is PS, police station, some influential person is there trying to harass another powerless. And he has given you this task. Which one you have to follow? You have to support this powerless person. Be neutral, objective in your approach. Ethics. You are explaining all these things along with giving the examples. From your own life, from your observation of the environment and your newspaper. And as diverse your reading is, better it is. Let's come to another point. Within this explanation comes three important aspects. Definition, significance, and application. This is our explanation part, as most questions will be based on explanation and examples, or you can say concept and application. This will be the core of most of the questions. So what we are doing? We are organizing definition, significance, application. This will be asked for most of the question in the theory part. So when you are organizing your material from the start only, since the start, what you will do, each and every topic, the topic is here, probity in public life, is the topic, probity in public life. That is how transparent you are in your conduct. For that topic, you have to prepare the notes according to your definition of probity, significance of probity, and application of probity. Organize your notes like this: D, S and A. Definition, significance, application. This is first part of the theory. And then will come your examples. The notes given by us will also be in the same format. But you will also, whatever you read, you should organize things in this fashion. This way you will score more than others. Since the first day you are ahead and you may not have realized it, you are way ahead than many people who are just sunk within that crowded material which is there in the market, 1500, 2000 pages of ethics. You are way ahead because you have been told these techniques. From the first day you are way ahead. Then comes your examples. Now you will organize your material in definition, significance, application. Definition of probity. What is probity? Probity is nothing but transparency. How transparent are you in your conduct? That will define the probity. In public life, in your public conduct, you are keeping your conduct open to the people through the measures like RTI, that is probity. In personal life, whatever interface your personal life has with the civil services, that you are keeping open and transparent. That is probity in the personal life. In your personal relationships, you are transparent, you are accountable, you are responsive. You can apply all these techniques everywhere. Definition of probity done. Application of probity. What is the application of probity? Due to probity, what will happen? If there is transparency, what will increase? will increase GG. Due to transparency, good governance will increase. The highest indicator of governance is good governance. Ethical, moral governance, simple, moral, accountable, responsive, or rational and transparent, or target oriented. Any of them you can use. Smart governance. Because of property. Significance of property. Significance of property in personal life. Your happiness index will be higher. Satisfaction index, the happiness index will be higher. Your well-being will be higher. Significance of property in personal life and public life. Definition, significance. Application, where can we apply this? Application can be many. Property application can be many. Property application you can take from individual level to the family level to the society level, then to the nation level and international level. Application, individual level property application we have already seen. Family level, family integrity, the mingling of each and every member, the bond, family bond they share with each other will be better, and that will be again leading to better well-being. Family's integral values will be increased. Society level, if there is probity, transparency, crime will go down. There won't be much crime. People will be living happily with each other. Nation level, the probity is higher. Your transparency index will be higher. That is, you as a nation will be seen as a prosperous nation which is going towards developed nations. International level probity is there. There won't be discrimination, as you can see in UN. What is happening? India, Brazil, Japan, Germany, despite being the fact that these are developing countries inching towards the countries like China, they are being discriminated. If there is probity in the international governance, this thing won't happen. Application, definition, significance, application. Prepared. Now we come to the second aspect. After DSA, definition, significance, application, comes your examples. Now from where will you cite the example in the answer and note it down? Which are the sources? Which sources? First source is your newspaper, as I told you. Most of you read the Hindu. There is nothing wrong with the Hindu. It's a very good and standard newspaper where rather than garbage, the pages of Hindu are filled with knowledge, value and very good vocabulary. That's also important. If you read Hindi newspaper, if any of you would have read, it is full of filth and garbage. If you read Times of India, full of filth, garbage, no need. What happened with Sushmita Sen and Aishwarya Rai is none of our business. It is their life. And who are the people running after these Bollywood, so-called Bollywood, Hollywood star, Tollywood stars? These are the people with very less IQ who are running after the stars, because they themselves don't believe and realize that they themselves are the stars. Become the star of your own life. If you are the star of your own life, if you are the star of your kid's life, then you are the luckiest and happiest person on this earth. This is not realized by most people. So read standard newspaper, either Hindu or Indian Express. There is no need to read so many newspapers. Read one newspaper deeply, but don't go on and on reading newspaper 4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours of 1.5 an hour is more than enough, where you are reading the front page, the editorial page, That too small editorials, not the big ones. If they are not very important, then going to the nation page, reading only important news, international page, important news, and then economy, important news according to your syllabus. In these newspaper only or the material you read, you will find certain case study. As I gave you the case study of whom? This person, Armstrong. Who built the full road in his district using his own personal savings, own and brother's personal savings. Likewise, there is another example of Divya Mittal. Likewise, there was another example of this gentleman, Alex Paul Menon. He was DC of a backward district somewhere in Odisha. He was kidnapped by Naxals. Naxals took him to a hideout. There he felt hungry. Naxal said that okay, we'll provide you the food. They brought food in front of him. The rice which they brought was smelling. There was a foul, filthy smell in this rice. He asked, who is giving you this rice? The Naxal said, in the PDS itself, public distribution system itself, this kind of rice is provided. Please tell me how somebody can eat this. If you are unable to eat this, how others will be able to eat this? Then Alex Paul Menon, he realized what he is saying makes sense. They released him after some time. When he came back to his office, the first decision he took was to replace the quality of rice and other grains, whatever was being given under PDS. You must have heard of a public distribution system that provides food and other basic amenities to the people who cannot afford it. This was a smart decision, an ethical decision taken by Alex Paul Menon. Likewise, years ago, there was a flood in Allahabad district. In UP. What happened? The rescue team had very limited resources and people at that point of time. The district magistrate, the DM of that time, he himself, DM jumped into the water, himself jumped into the water, removing his tie, shirt, everything. He went into the water, started rescuing people. When others saw that the DM himself is in the water rescuing people, they also followed. This is leadership, leading from the front. When Satish Dhawan was the in charge of our space mission, once it failed. It failed because one of the mistakes done by whom? None other than Mr. Kalam. APJ Kalam and his team made a mistake. Because of that, there was a failure of the mission. Satish Dhawan, rather than scolding the team, he took the responsibility on his own. Next time when the mission became successful, he said he sent Kalam to address the press. Because it was a success, the leader in Dhawan said that go and send the team members. When there is failure, you are taking it on your own. Failure, you are taking on your own. Success, you are appreciating the effort of the team. Success of team, failure of mine. This is the principle of the leaders. And this takes a huge lot of maturity and humility. A humble person will do this. A person who is going ahead in life will do this. Have you heard of this? This is a hill. A person is climbing on the hill. While climbing, you will have to bow down. And a person who is getting down the hill will always be tilted towards back. This is called akkad in Hindi. A person who has lots of akkad and ego will be falling down the hill. A person who is humble will always progress in life. So be humble, be grounded, be respectful, be positive, be grateful of the resources which you have. There are people who don't have the resources. I'll tell you, there was a guy who had to cycle 10 kilometers from his village every day to get the newspaper, The Hindu. To get the newspaper, The Hindu, he used to cycle 10 kilometers daily. Now somebody will say this is his exercise. Correct? Yes, he's doing the exercise. Actually it was good for him. But he never made a complaint. And despite odds, after so many attempts, failing so many times, finally he succeeded. After so many attempts, not naming the number of attempts, unnecessarily it will be cumbersome. So he tested the success after so many failures. Humility. You people or anybody on this earth should be grateful that I am getting these resources that will keep you positive, humble and going in life. Okay, so these are the examples. The first source I told you was newspaper. Case studies from the newspaper or otherwise. First is your newspaper information, then your case study information. Case studies which you gather from your newspaper through the classes as I am giving you, through your diverse reading which you will be doing for essay. Let it converge at one place. If it converges at one place, your essay will be better, your ethics will also be better. Collect these examples. Now, your examples which you cite in the paper should be one, unique. Your examples should be unique. When I say unique, what does it mean? The examples which I give are my observation. The examples which you will give will be your observation. So note down the observations you make. Make a list of it. Make a list of examples you encounter. And they will become further significant and unique if they are from your own life journey. Now you will say, I just remain at home, I prepare, I don't even go out and play, I don't have a good friend circle, large friend circle, what should I do? Even there, even if you are living at your home, reading, studying material and doing nothing other than this, still you are learning. Even if you are watching something on Netflix, as mundane as that, watching something on Netflix, even then you can learn. Recently I watched a movie, this Bollywood movies are generally avoided, but still I watched this OMG 2, oh my god 2. There they have reflected the kind of hypocritical society we are living in. most of the Indians are hypocrites, because they say something and double standards they are following. We are the most populous country in this world, and we hate this. We hate sex education. This word is taken in such a derogatory and shameful manner. Although the thing is that if used positively, it can lead to lots of benefits to our demographic dividend. Most people learn about these things through internet or through peer group. Rather than that, if it is explained by the teachers in the schools itself in a simplistic manner, it will have a better impact. They will have a better life. What is happening? Clash of civilization in USA. Although it's a developed country, what is happening? A 14-year-old boy is carrying the gun, and a 14-year-old girl is carrying a child, unfortunately. Why? Because of this lack of sex education. You see how it is being shaped. So you observed. Where does this observation come from? This movie only. Your knowledge horizon. I explored this and realized this. And this is not there in my notes. This is the observation subconsciously which came to me. So likewise, you will have to observe whatever limited life you might be having. You will be able to observe certain things which you can put as an example, unique examples, real life examples through your own life canvas. Look deep down into your life, how you have done preschool life. Very less you remember, but still you have, the impact is there, because most children are the mirror image of their parents. Most children are mirror image of their parents. So preschool life, the school life, most of you have seen this school. Then you go to college life. Till college everybody has seen college life. Then some people go for the job life, or other aspects, your friendship, your peer group, parents, peer group, and teacher. These three things you have definitely seen. Apart from that, them some ideals, your ideals, everybody have their own ideals. Their examples will further make it unique. Your own life canvas, which you have to, these strategies you must inculcate to score well. Before we delve deep into the concepts, this is very important, because these are the things which differentiate you from others. Others keep on reading the books, you will be reading few chapters, precise material, and you will score well. This is the idea, this is the way things are done. Then we come to your another significant aspect, which is called, you will have to keep some things as I call them ready-made material, or in Hindi the masala, ingredients, pre-cooked ingredients. As you find that nowadays what is happening, processed food, paratha packed in the bag, delivered to you, you just heat it and eat it. Pre-cooked material. Good for health, not good for health, that is separate debate. Ready-made material, you will have to ensure that there is a set of ready-made material. Ready-made material, RM. And what is there in RM? What all you need to prepare? First and foremost, you will make a list of eminent. We will also provide, of course, but from your own side you must do some efforts. Eminent personalities, the values they stand for, and their most famous quote. Eminent personalities, values they stand for, and their most famous quote. Now this quote will help you in essay as well. We will take the example of Gandhiji. And you see, if you become a bit observant, you will realize the presence of, the significance of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, that is Gandhiji, in our lives have decreased, diminished, and completely starved out since last decade. I have not seen such a decline in any phase of my life. In any decade, I have not seen such a steep decline where certain people lost their relevance like anything. One of them is Gandhiji. What Gandhiji stood for? The values, his most significant values: humility, integrity, leadership, Gandhiji values. Quote, the most famous quote: there is enough for the need of everyone, but not enough for the greed of anyone. There is enough for the need of everyone, but not enough for the greed of anyone. What does it define? What values it is giving indication towards? Sustainable development, SD, sustainable development, and not being greedy. These are all values you can note down here, but especially these values. Likewise, you will have to make a set of table for different eminent personalities. These personalities can be from your history. Personalities can be from your history study, from the people who are in your environment right now, including your parents also, including your teachers also, including your peer group. From the peer group, somebody has done some wonderful work, you can cite it here. So you have made a list, you have made a list of values, the quotations, famous quotations given by these people. You have a ready-made material which you will cite in the question. If they ask you examples, there is a ready-made material for many questions. You can put these examples in many of the questions, theory questions. Some of them can be used in the case study as well. And apart from these, the eminent personalities, as I have already told you, the case studies like again Divya Mittal, Armstrong Palme, Alex Paul Menon. Negative examples, B. Chandrakala, the Rawat. When you are giving the example of those people who are already serving there and there is a negative example, don't name them. When it is a positive example, give the name of the person. When it is a negative example, don't name them. Just give an indirect reference, because it is not ethical to defame somebody. Okay, so examples we have done. One is your eminent personalities. One is your list of eminent personalities. Second is your list of examples or case studies. Now, in the ready-made material, what all you have to prepare is, third one is your flow charts and diagrams. Ready-made flow charts. What is the example here? In the flow chart and diagram, eminent personality case studies and flow chart diagram. In the flow chart and diagram, within the flow chart, like we said that British Nolan Committee says there is, these are the values: accountability, integrity, selflessness, honesty, leadership, objectivity and openness. Already told to you. This kind of flow chart, this kind of tree mapping you can do. Written Ashlew here, expanded it. Likewise, SMART, simple, moral, accountable, responsive and transparent, or rational and target oriented, any of them, but this one is a better one. SMART, simple, moral, accountable, responsive and transparent. This also, these kind of flow chart and diagrams you have to prepare and keep it handy with yourself, so that to score well in the theory part. These are the fodder and smart fodder which will make your answers rich, because the content part will always be there. Content will be delivered, don't worry about that. You will always have very good command over the content. There is no dearth of the content in the market. Follow these techniques, imbibe it in your habit. Theory part done. Then comes your case study. Case study part. Now, case study is the backbone of your ethics marks. If you don't do well in your case study, then the probability of scoring beyond 80 or 90 is very, very, very less. If you need to do well if you want to score well in your ethics, integrity and aptitude paper, you must outdo others in case study department. And how it can be done? Again, like theory has certain principles, case study also has certain principles, techniques. See, what actually is your case study checking? L, R and ED. LR is logical reasoning. Lots of reasoning part is already checked, evaluated in your CSAT, Civil Service Aptitude Test, prelims, but that is objective. So they want to check your reasoning in main paper as well. Logical reasoning. How logical reasoning is checked? You are given a question, a case study, and then you are asked, what options do you have? Options. While you are exploring the options and then choosing the best option possible, you are showing the ability of logical reasoning. Suppose you must have case study. You must have heard about the Bhopal gas tragedy. In 1984. Union Carbide was a company, UC, because of whose irresponsible, amoral behavior yes, in probity example, the Lal Bahadur Shastri's example can be used. Even the example of the M. Vishwesvaraya can also be used, who used candles only for the public office purpose, but as the public office timings ended, he used his own personal candle, personal resources. That can also be used. And examples of any movie definitely can be given. From this example comes one doubt which was asked in the last class, although the last class was of psychology, that regarding Kapil Sharma show. See, that Kapil Sharma show, if you have keenly observed the behavior of Kapil Sharma show, he is using anti-women or derogatory terms for women, objectifying women. This has become a trend in our daily language, not only for men, for women also. So what is happening? Because of this, the further derogation of women is taking place. They are furtherly reinforcing the stereotypes which were earlier held. Now this can be used here in the ethics paper as well. So you see Union Carbide, because of the irresponsible behavior of Union Carbide in 1984, a poisonous gas, methyl isocyanate, the name is not important again, was released, and because of which several people died. Now in this district you are a superintendent of police. There is a political pressure to release the criminal as soon as possible. your own promotion is at stake if you don't follow the dictates of your seniors and political bosses. Then comes the public interest. Several people have died. How can you let go such a criminal? If they ask you, what options do you have? There, you have to say that all the options. One, you will follow the dictates of the bosses. You will listen to your conscience. Which responsibility is more important? Your personal responsibility, because your family members also expect you to do well, and they also demand safety, security, and if you are not promoted, or if you are demoted, or if you are dismissed or suspended, their life will also be hampered. Their responsibility is also with you. Think practically, and you will realize that there is lots of dilemma. So while you are enumerating the options, they are looking at your reasoning, and when you choose the option, the best option for you, there, along with the logical reasoning, the one important thing which is checked is your ethical dilemma solving. How do you solve your ethical dilemma? Your capability to solve the ethical dilemma. And let me tell you one thing, case study marks and the marks of the ethics, therefore, depends upon how well you solve this ethical dilemma. If you solve the ethical dilemma really well, if you enumerate your ethical dilemma well, that these are the ethical dilemmas in front of me: personal responsibility, official responsibility, moral integrity, and listening to your public interest. Public interest or your hierarchy, the duty which you have to listen to the seniors. Disobeying seniors may cost you dearly, as it happened in the case of Kiran Bedi. Kiran Bedi was known for disobeying the seniors. Since she disobeyed her seniors, Kiran Bedi was not promoted to the rank of Commissioner of Delhi, CP Delhi, Commissioner of Police Delhi. She did not get this job only because she was disobeying the seniors. So there is a dilemma, which one to follow? These two things are checked. One is your logical reasoning, then second is your ethical dilemma. And to get good marks on these two parameters, logical reasoning and ethical dilemma, it is important for you that you put yourself in place of the IAS, IPS. Visualize the situation you are surrounded by. When you put yourself in the shoes of a person who is there, visualize the situation, internalize it. While reading the case study question itself, you internalize and visualize yourself there in the Union Carbide poisonous gas leak situation and see that so many people have died. How will you react as a responsible person? That is required here. If you put yourself in the shoes of the IAS or IPS who is there, or the CEO of a business, or an eminent citizen, or even as a common man who is a good Samaritan, good citizen, then you will realize that it is very difficult to take a decision. It's always a dilemma. But how will I solve it? Because I have to choose one, and then I have to choose one very quickly. There is not much time. So put yourself in the shoes of the IAS or IPS or CEO, whosoever is at the cornerstone of this case study. Then your ability to ensure that your answers don't look mechanical, which I have seen the case with most of the people. The answer looks mechanical. Especially in the case of ethics and essay, let me tell you one thing very clearly. If your answers are just mechanical, the probability of getting good marks is not high. If your answers look passionate, if you are genuinely passionate and compassionate, there is genuine passion and compassion both in your answer, then only your marks will be higher. You see, this is mechanical end, this is passionate end. Mechanical people, most of them will score 80, 100. Here, passionate people who have got the content as well as passion, there they will score 110 to 140 or maybe plus also. To reach to this end, your answers must look genuine and honestly passionate. That's why I tell you to inculcate the habit of a civil servant. Look at yourself in the mirror in the morning and say that yes, I am an IAS officer. That kind of feeling should be there from the beginning of your day. Then there are 4 P's which are very important. While you are showcasing your approach, there are 4 P's. Which are the P's? P, 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 P and P. What is this? One is your proactive. Before the problems have arrived, you are either catching a disaster before it has happened, you have neutralized the bomb before it has exploded. Before Union Carbide poisonous gas leak happened, there must have been some foul at the level where they were given the license. Some foul at the level where people did not check that the gas release might happen. Some foul where the hazard management was not done well. You as a civil servant will have to be proactive. Not only stop the disasters, but not only act when the disasters have happened, stop the disaster from happening before the disasters have happened. If you see the situation in Nuh, what happened? Nuh, there was a riot, but before the riot took place, a procession was brought. Procession, jhanki, procession was carried on the road. Now, the district magistrate and SP should have realized that these kind of processions, if they carry, then there will be riot. There is a probability. Even if there is a chance of 1% of the chance of riot, they should have stopped it. What is this called? Proactive approach. You have to be proactive. In the Union Carbide case also, you should have talked to the Ministry of Environment, cancel their license or ask the ministry to cancel their license. Then you have to be problem solver. There may be, the situation may be vexed. So many stakeholders are there. As they ask in the case study, questions you must have seen, and if you have not seen, please go and see it. We will provide you the PYQs, previous year questions, but you must also see to get a feel of it. Case study. If you see, they ask the stakeholders. Stakeholders. What is the meaning of stakeholder? In the UPSC examination, who are the stakeholders? One is the UPSC board itself. Then the examinee, those people who write the examination. Then the examiners, especially these two, UPSC and the examinee. Stakeholders. So they will ask you about the stakeholders, and when there are so many stakeholders, so much of ethical dilemma, which way to choose? Whether you will be a problem solver or you will always be criticizing, as most people do. They are criticizing, this coaching is not good, that coaching is not good, this teacher did not teach well, that teacher did not teach well. In the aspirants lobby, I am saying. Although you are correct to a large extent, the environment is such that the most of the teachers are not doing their work honestly, frankly speaking. So whether you will be criticizing the environment or you will be a problem solver. So attitude should be of solving the problem rather than making it more complex and vexed. Howsoever complex, like violence happened in Nuh. But it is important to understand that religious processions are also very significant part of our lives. We cannot completely ban it. If some problems have arisen out of it, then you have to solve it, but you cannot ban it. That's a negative approach. You cannot ban a particular community. That's a very negative approach. Or you cannot run away from the problem. You will have to realize that there is a problem, then solve it. Proactively solving it, and then in the situation also solving it. Positive. Proactive, problem solver, positive. What is the meaning of positive? If one riot has taken place, it does not mean that your moral and the public sentiments towards it, towards the religious processions, will become completely negative. You will take lessons from the failure. You failed as an SP there, but you will take lessons so that the same mistake is not repeated. That is called positive approach. On the learning curve, you are on the learning curve. You will use these unique examples and case studies in the next duty. That is called positive approach. Then practical. Your practicality should be reflected. As we see, every discipline has an interface with general studies. Likewise, as we study how to solve the problem effectively, how to cope up with the stress. There is stress in the environment. There are some environmental stress, normal stress which everybody goes through. Some people cannot cope up with it and they suffer from disorders. Then stress may be coped in a emotion focused coping manner, then problem focused coping manner. If you apply these two, problem focused coping. What is problem focused coping? You come to me, say, sir, I have these problems. I listen to that and give you the solution. That is problem focused. Emotion focused coping, I listen to you empathetically. Okay, this happened in your last attempt, no issues. Okay, you were not well that time, this time you will do well. I'll have to use the emotion focused and problem focused coping both, then only the problem will be solved. Then I'll have to use the social support also, that is the support of the parents, teacher, peer group, brother, sister, everyone. Then the stress will be coped in the right manner. EFC, PFC and the social support. So here when I say you have to be practical, it means that you have to apply the problem focused coping, focusing on the problem, then solving it along with the emotions around it. This practicality is needed. A perfect blend of practical as well as emotional approach. So these 4 P's are important and they should be reflected in your approach of solving case study. How it will be done? We have seen certain examples. Later on when we deal with each and every case study, it will be part of our system. But these are the principles. Now, what are the steps in a case study? When you are given a case study, what are the steps? How to solve it? This is the case study which I gave you. Likewise, there will be case study. How to approach that case study? Step number 1. In step 1, just summarize the case in 1 or 2 sentences. 1 sentence or 2 sentences. Like if we have a case like this, you will summarize it. There is a dilemma between personal aggrandizement or personal growth and public interest. There is a dilemma between following the orders of the bosses or to listen to the call of the conscience. These 2 sentences you will drop and it will summarize the scenario in our case study. Then will come your case study step 2. Step 1 you have already given this. Step 2, will be the step of stakeholders as I was talking earlier. Step 1 is summarizing the case briefly, 1 or 2 sentences. Then you will say, in the particular case, I being the district magistrate or superintendent of police, the CEO of the company or business owner of the company Union Carbide, the people of the district and the minister concerned are stakeholders. You can enumerate it in 1, 2, 3, 4 manner, or you can give spoke and wheel approach. Stakeholders 1, 2, 3, 4 this, or you can just write stakeholders here and any of the 3 approaches you can follow. But let me tell you one technique to score well. You should not use any particular way in all the case studies. In some of the case studies use this one, and in others use them, all of them in different case studies, even if they are asking you the stakeholders. That will show your creativity. You don't have a fixated way of doing things. Depending upon your flexibility, but be flexible of doing this. So first was summarizing, then was stakeholders. And remember one important thing, while you are summarizing the case study, you have to give 1 or 2 sentences. While giving the stakeholders, only give the important stakeholders. You have to enumerate only important stakeholders, not that government of India also, society also, international community also. These are not the stakeholders. Only enumerate the important direct stakeholders there. What is happening nowadays, the approach which people are following is that they enumerate lot many stakeholders and they think that by enumerating 8-10 stakeholders they will get marks. No, the examiner is not a foolish person. He knows very well that important stakeholders are to be enumerated. So don't do this mistake. Only enumerate the important stakeholders. In our case, the stakeholders being only 4. You as an SP or DM, then the CEO or the business owner of the Union Carbide, then the minister concerned and the people. Okay, we'll move forward. The step 3. The step 3 will ask you about the options you have, options available to you if you are in that place. That will ask you about the options. As we were doing in theory, the definition, significance, application and examples in any particular topic for any question, DSA plus examples. Likewise, we are following the steps here. Okay. Step 3 is options. While generating the options, as I have already told you, your logical reasoning capabilities will be checked and before this step 3, before enumerating the options, you will have to write down one thing. As we have summarized in the start of the case study, you will have to give that summary here again. What is that summary of ethical dilemmas? What is ethical dilemma, by the way? No rocket science here. The dilemma between choosing one ethical principle or the other. I'll give you an example. As I gave you an example of the highway being built and there is a forest. You have to build the highway, you have the option of building the highway through the forest, or you can just, most people choose this going through the forest because they are following the principle of greater good. The resources are also saved, time, money, energy is saved when you are going through the forest. But then what about the conservation of nature? What about the people who are living in the community there? Their livelihood, something which is called sustainable development. Greater good means large number of people will be benefited because of this. If it goes through the forest, large number of people, because resources will not be wasted. But sustainable development says that you have to conserve the environment, you have to conserve the community, everything has to be done. So here your dilemma is to follow the principle of greater good or to follow the principle of sustainable development. As in the last case, listening to the orders of the bosses or listening to the call of the conscience. Now you have summarized the dilemma here before giving the options. Now you will enumerate the options available to you. Follow the bosses, be idle, don't do anything, listen to your conscience, not many options, these much of options only. Unnecessarily don't jot down options which cannot be there. 3 options probably we have. These are the options. Dilemma, according to the dilemma, the options are there. And which one will you choose? Then after this comes the next step. Step number 4. Choosing the correct option according to you. They always say which one will you choose, not which one is the correct option. Which one will you choose? So firstly, which you choose and how you define. How do you articulate your values? And when I say values, which 4 P's? Proactivity, problem solving capability, positivity and practicality, which we have dealt now. How do you articulate your 4 P's in choosing the best possible option which you have? That defines your marks. This is the step which fetches most of the marks. And when you are defining your answers mechanically, then you lose out on this front. You lose out on this front only because you are designing your answer mechanically. If you are writing your answers passionately as a civil servant, being in the shoes of the SP or DM or the CEO of the business, then you will write your answer passionately. In this step, you will articulate your real values. And there are no correct answers or wrong answers. And the correct answers or wrong options. Which one you choose, how much conviction you show. Conviction you show in articulating your values, that will fetch you marks. Choosing the option, choosing the best option rather, best possible option in the given environment. Here most people don't do well. Because they don't write the answer with the conviction. Suppose in our case of Union Carbide, you are going with the option of, in place of the 3, you have enumerated the 4th one also, that you will take a perfect blend of practicality and ethicality. How? Without making hue and cry in the media. You will ensure that the CEO does not run away. People are treated efficiently. The leak of the gas is immediately arrested. Leak of the gas is immediately arrested. And you are making a report so that in future no such case takes place. In future no such case takes place. You are putting up a structure, a process, so that if somebody like Union Carbide comes up to put their plant, then they will have to take environment impact assessment report, EIA report, environmental impact assessment report. Through that report we will know the hazards, we will know what can be the hazards in such industries and how to stop them, and why, even if the gas leak happened, why did not the Union Carbide take care of it? Who was negligent within the Union Carbide? That also investigation should be done. Proper investigation should be done. They should also be shown, here your structure has faltered. You are putting up, as many people see, you have your unique way of solving it. There are many people solve the problem in this short term measures, long term measures. Now again I am saying, if you do like this, it will become very mechanical. If you do the same format, repeat the same format in each one of your answers in ethics, it will become very mechanical kind of approach. So use all these terminologies, technologies, principles which I have told you right now, but depending upon the question, or you use all these techniques in different questions, different techniques. What will happen? Your answers will not be monotonous. The examiner will understand that you have not designed a format from the beginning. You don't have a pre-cooked material. You are doing it there in the examination hall. That's also very important to fetch marks. Certain things you have designed, okay, I will use for the stakeholders, I will use this. For ethical dilemmas, I will use this. Yes, this you can follow. When you feel that it has become monotonous, you can change it to shift to different technique. I will summarize the chapter for you. There are two parts: theory, case study. I was supposed to discuss the question which I have given to you, but since not many of you have written it, I am not going to discuss it. Unless I get all the copies, I am not going to discuss it, because I am going to make sure that you improve. If I am putting in that hard work, you should also put in. Theory and case study. In theory, we realized DSA: definition, significance, application and examples. You have to organize the material, and while writing the answers also you have to follow this: definition, significance, application, example for all the topics. Once you have made a note of it, you have made a note of the key eminent personalities, their learnings, their quotations, the quotes they have given, the examples and case studies also you have noted down for the theory purpose. The case studies or examples which you see in newspaper, in your GS study, in your novels, in your movies, through your observation, through your life history, that makes it unique. That you will have to do, note down. Make a list of it for sure, then only you will get marks. In the case study, what we have seen, your case study will become better if you follow certain approach, that you are not writing mechanical answers, you are writing passionate answers, putting yourself in the shoes of the DM, SP or CEO. You are in the shoes of the person. While designing your case study options and then the way out, the options which you will give, which will actually summarize your ethical dilemma, and through that dilemma will come the options. Because of these dilemmas you will have the options, and out of the options you will choose the best one. In this, what you have to reflect? The 4 P's. The 4 P's must be shown. It's not 4 R's, 4 P's. Four P's. P, positive, proactive, practical, and problem solver. These 4 P's should be reflected in your approach. And how it will happen? As I have told you, get this into your system. Now it will become easier. If you get all these in your system, you become a problem solver. You get up in the morning, you see that so much of problem is going on. There is no water, no bijli, no electricity. It may happen anywhere, despite the fact lots of backing up we have. We might not be having electricity, we might not be having water, or there may be 10 types of problems. Now you, rather than cribbing about the problem, if you become a problem solver, will it not become easier to you? If you take everything, if the crisis comes, there are two sets of people. One is, if crisis comes, they will buckle, the weak people, they will buckle down. There are people who will say somehow escapist people, or those who crumble down. And there are people who take this as an opportunity to grow, opportunity to learn. These are the winners in life. These are problem solvers. Positive approach, again, not cribbing about the situation but solving it, not seeing the negative aspects of it but taking the lesson forward. Next time onwards we don't need to use this particular laptop because it's consuming lots of power, so the electricity tripped away. Proactive approach, before the problem comes, you see, sense the problem. You can see the parents of the small kid is at the heart of so many problems, but if they are alert, proactive, they understand, okay, this may create the problem, okay, shunt this may create the problem, shunt this. Likewise, if you are a responsible person, you will be proactive. You will sense fear, you will sense some uncertainty, you will sense that it may happen. For example, proactivity, what does it mean? As an administrator, you must know 26/11 happened, Mumbai terror attack. Now we were having a fantastic preparation as far as terrorism from land, air strike is concerned. On the border we had very good security arrangement, even Air Force was very well prepared. But Navy, we never understood that through water also there can be an attack, because water is a porous water. And what happens if the attack is sudden, if there is a sudden attack like in 26/11 case, suddenly some people enter the city and start bombarding, start shelling. What will happen? Are we prepared for that? The answer is no. That's why we lost so many talented officers, because we were not prepared. If we had sensed that, okay, this may also, now all sorts of terrorist attack have taken place. Bioweapons, biological weapons have not been used much, if not ever much. What happens if a corona-like virus is spread in our society by an enemy country? Are we prepared for that? Are we proactive in dealing with these kind of disasters? We generally in urban areas live in a high-rise building. Have we done the structural audit? Have we done the structural audit if somehow earthquake comes and the whole building crumbles? Whole building crumbles, and it has happened in many of the cities. What is our approach? Proactive approach is to be followed. Before the disaster takes place, you will have to be proactive. I will give you an example of how administration is held. During our college days, we were having an 200 plus colleges used to participate in one of our inter-college programs. 200 plus, many universities, colleges used to participate. Now, because of this, there could have been some or the other crisis, and it used to happen. In some of the years, there was fight among students. Such a big gathering, so stampede, fire issues, ill treatment, of students, harassment, so many issues. So in one of the years, I remember one of the seniors of ours, Vasudev, he was made crisis manager. This year, no crisis took place. No crisis. He was asked, what happened? What did you use? What technique do you use? He said, I made a list of all the crises which have taken place earlier. Made a list. Studied it carefully. And then decided what all can take place. What all can take place. All the dimensions. He had a team, small team, research team. Then made arrangements so that none of these crises can take place. Proactive approach. If you are in administration and if you show this proactive approach, then you are very successful, especially in the countries like India. So your proactivity should be there. Proactive approach. Then practical. What is that? We have already talked about the efficient management, effective management, so that resources are not wasted. Resources are not wasted, they are utilized optimally, efficiently. Manpower, money, time, they are utilized efficiently and effectively. And you take a decision by weighing out each option objectively. If these values are reflected in your answer in the case study, then you get marks. Then how do we design our case study? Firstly, summarize it. Case study answer, summarize the case. Then you will give the stakeholders, then your dilemmas, then you will give your options, then you will choose your best option. While choosing the option, you will be rational, but these are the options possible, and the best possible option which is there, you are choosing. Here you have to articulate your values passionately, being in the shoes of the civil servant. So this summarizes our techniques. From next class onwards, we will start doing our syllabus. Within that will come your examples. I'll keep giving you tests, but you must give me the answers so that I can evaluate and be the part of your progress. With this, we will end today's session. This session is very important. This will also be given to you in PDF format, but try to inculcate all the values about which I have talked about. Be observant what is happening around you and write them in your answer sheet, because reading books alone will not make you a civil servant, which is the trend, especially in the hub like old Rajendra Nagar, Mukherjee Nagar, these places of Delhi, and there are other hubs. Allahabad is one of the hub for Hindi aspirants. Several other places people prepare, but stay away from that herd mentality. Don't follow what others are doing. What others are doing is definitely not the path of success, because not everyone will be successful. So what others are doing, if you are also doing the same, you will definitely not be successful. Do something which others are not doing. People say read this book, say no. Read this book, no. No, no, no. If you have the ability to say no to most of the things, you become successful in life. Don't follow all these things. Follow these techniques. Go by them again and again. Imbibe them in your system. Read the material which will be provided to you. We will keep on discussing our syllabus topic wise. The same approach, DSA, definition, significance, application, example, theories, and in the case study we will apply our principles of 4P. Write your answers passionately, not just mechanical answers. Passionate answers, conviction, full of conviction. Then only you will fetch marks. Now today is Tuesday, we will meet again on Thursday and continue our journey towards progress and prosperity. Thank you very much for joining. Good night. Enjoy your studies.